Good afternoon. I'm in the park at the moment, and this is the penultimate. It is the penultimate day of our special offer on the Kindle version of my new book, Fuck Work, Let's Play. I thought I would go live and talk about this, and be interesting to know if anybody can hear me okay. Hopefully, hi Pamela. Can you hear me okay, even though I'm out in the park and I've got my AirPods on? Hopefully it's all kind of working properly. I don't actually know if I get your comments properly on this anymore. Anyway, so this week we got a promotion on. It is the launch week of this book, Fuck Work, Let's Play. Do what you love and get paid for it. We managed to hit the top 3 hot new books in, I think it was job hunting, and we hit number 7 on entrepreneurship careers in Amazon, so it counts as a top 10 bestseller already. I haven't got the paperback out yet, so we're going to be we don't know exactly when that's going to be yet, but I might be able to announce that next week of any luck. And good, hi Pamela, can hear me all right. Nice to see you. And there's a section in this that I think will really interest some people, and that's people who are known as scanners. So there's 2 kinds of people in the world. People who divide the whole world into 2 kinds of people, and people who don't. No. There are 2 kinds of people, broadly speaking: scanners and divers. This is a concept from the US author Barbara Sher, which I think is really helpful. And divers are better understood in the world, better accepted. And divers are people who want to focus on one thing, become really, really good at it, and are happy to stay on that topic. You think of somebody who studies to become a neurologist. Probably they're obsessed with that topic and they want to go really, really deep into it. Let's hope so if they're going to be operating on you. Whereas other people, we're much broader. So we don't have that breadth, but we don't have the depth, we have the breadth. And people like me, scanners, as Barbara Sher called them, are people who were also called sometimes polymaths, Renaissance souls, Renaissance men and women. We're people who are fascinated by science and art and music and politics, and we want to learn, Japanese one week and counselling the next week, and who knows what the week after. And scanners love to learn for the sake of learning. So once we've got the gist of something, we tend to move on. We have loads of ideas. I was talking to Lawrence Shorter yesterday, who's an author and a leadership consultant and an artist and all sorts of other things. He's very much a scanner. And he said, just like me, he has more ideas he knows what to do with. He can't possibly execute on all the ideas that he has just day by day. So if this is you, then this is what Barbara Sher called a scanner. Others have called a Renaissance soul. And my book, Fuck Work, Let's Play, is very much aimed at people who are not necessarily completely, you might be a scanner, you might not be, but people who are somewhere down that scale. So super straight people who want to climb the partner track inside an accountancy firm or a legal firm. Probably not the number 1 target for Fuck Work, Let's Play. I mean, the title, first of all, probably doesn't resonate with everybody. And in this book, I wrote a section which is a new section, because this is a revised and updated and expanded version of my first book, Screw Work, Let's Play. It's been translated into 10 languages and was recommended by the Sunday Times back when it first came out. And in this new version, there's the Scanner's Guide to Success, which has 7 points. And I'm going to read it to you. And this is actually, I'm going to read it because since I don't have a paperback copy, I'm going to read it from the PDF of the proofs we have scribbled on it for the printers to correct something. And there's 7 points. So if you are one of these people who has lots of interests and lots of ideas, a normal career is not going to do it for you. You're going to be bored stupid. So James is almost certainly a scanner. James has lots of interests, who's just joined us here. And so if you're not going to be interested by just doing one thing all your life, what do? So here's 7 things to help ensure that you become a successful scanner. Because what I noticed when I was running Scanners Nights, this is a live event for scanners a few years back, which I ran for about 5 or 6 years, and it was very popular. It got into the press. And what I noticed is that some scanners would come along and they would come back week after week, month after month, and nothing would happen. They wouldn't move forward. And some scanners would have all these ideas and put some of them into action, and amazing things would happen, and they would publish books, and they would change career, and they would start businesses, and they would launch, social causes and so on. And so I got interested in what is the difference. So here's 7 keys to being successful as a scanner. Number 1, choose a project or business that will retain your interest. So if you are going to choose a single business to focus on, like I have the Ideas Lab, make sure that it is broad enough for you, or a career for that matter. Make sure that it's broad enough to keep you interested in it. So ultimately, the Ideas Lab is about me helping other people turn their ideas into successful business, books and brands. And I've been doing that for 15 years now. And that means it's eternally varied, because every idea I'm working with from somebody else is different, because it's a different person, a different business, different book, different project. And so I never get bored. And if you're not starting a business but you're in a career, scanners make great journalists, comedians, cultural commentators, consultants, public speakers, researchers, inventors and entrepreneurs. Anything that maximizes the ability to learn quickly, make creative connections, communicate what you found, and move on. And so, James, for instance, is a management consultant, but he's also been, I think, head of technology and so on at other places and big companies. And so anything that gives you variety is going to keep you interested. You don't want to just be somebody who's into the minutiae of one thing forever. Second point, this is in the Success Guide for Scanners from Fuck Work Let's Play, is look for the theme in your passions. And there's a great story in here from Sarah Weiler, who took one of my courses a few years ago, started a comedy night in London, which is still going today, called Rye Laughs. And then she got interested in teaching people ukulele, and now she teaches ukulele to big corporations like Google. And I think what she realized is that there was a theme in everything. She didn't see it at first, and often you won't. But the theme for her was creating a space for people to thrive while also having fun, whether that's a comedy club, learning ukulele, or a creative retreat. It's one of the other things she's done. So what's the theme in it? And when you know that, then you can make sure you stay on theme, and you can make sure that everything you do encompasses that theme. So the third point is consider creating a business that combines your interests. So I used my example of the Ideas Lab earlier. And the great thing about when you start your own business is you have to do everything initially, unless you immediately get funding or you have a lot of cash and you can hire people straight away. Generally, you're doing everything. So that means, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the PR, you're doing the delivery of whatever it is you do, you're doing the outreach, you're building your website, or at least, choosing what happens on your website. And I think that keeps it very, very varied and interesting. But also, if you choose a business that combines lots of interests, you're going to be in a better state. So the Ideas Lab contains almost everything I'm interested in, with a possible exception of music, because I'm quite interested in electronic music. But other than that, it includes creativity, psychology, writing, online marketing, technology, design, and online user experience. All of that goes into everything that I do. So what is it for you? Is there some way that you can take all your interests and put it into one thing? And there are some really successful scanners. Richard Branson is essentially a scanner. He's interested in lots of different things. The Virgin Group has, 200 plus companies within it. Oprah Winfrey, she's a billionaire. Think of, she's got a magazine, she had a TV channel at one point, she has a TV show, she has online properties, she's all sorts of interests. Elon Musk, again, keeps spawning companies based around his interest in technology and also saving the planet. Fourth point, know your cash cow. This is a really important one, that if you're the problem with a lot of creative people like me is, and possibly you, is we don't think about money because it's not our top priority. But if you don't think about it, you end up not having any. So I had to learn that skill over the past 15 years of like, how much money am I making? How much money do I need to pay everybody that's involved? And the way to make sure that your business is going to work is that when you're doing lots of these wacky projects, which we scanners cannot resist, you want to make sure that one of them is a real cash cow. So to go back to that example from Sarah Weiler, she does lots of interesting projects like the Comedy Night. She has, she's done creative retreats. She's done all sorts of stuff. Oops, why is it doing that? I did not say, hey Siri. It just started going, no. My iPhone's gone a bit funny. She never let drop her main money earner, which is now the Power of Uke. So that's the business that teaches ukulele to big corporations. So if you've got, for instance, some corporate work that pays well, if you've got one course that sells really well online, if you do some sort of freelance gig that pays you well, then it leaves you space to do all the other stuff that may or may not make money, and you may not even want to try and make money out of it. So 5th point in the Scanner's Guide to Success, become, oh good, Julia says, just downloaded the book and can't wait to get stuck in. Thanks, Julia. Become T-shaped. So this is a concept that people have been talking about recently, and what that means is T-shaped personality means you've got all this breadth, but there is at least one area in which you've got a deep expertise. If you're just full of ideas and you don't have any ability to execute them and no kind of practical skill set, then it's very difficult to get paid. It's very difficult to make a living in that way. And an awful lot of scanners end up in kind of dead-end, boring jobs or just broke because they never quite crack this. So when you're T-shaped, what that means is you can, for instance, if you're going to be fascinating lots of different ideas, what are you going to get paid for, and what's the skill that's going to enable that? I think of it sometimes as a craft. So if you're fascinated by lots of different things and you want to tell other people about them, become a great public speaker. You can get paid for public speaking. Become a great writer. You can get paid for writing. Not that well, but you can do. And it's a useful skill to add on to other things. If you have ideas around business all the time, if you combine that with a deep expertise in, say, online marketing, then you have something really valuable, because then you can launch these things online again and again and actually make money out of them, or you can help other people do the same thing. So that's what the T-shape is. There's the breadth across the top, and then there's a depth in at least one particular area. 6th point on the Scanner's Guide to Success from Fuck Work Let's Play is follow through on the things that matter. Now, I disagree with Barbara Sher, who sadly died early this year, on this. She kind of says, oh, well, just never finish anything if you don't want to. Well, you can do if you want to, if you're retired or if you've got making your living some other way. But if you want to have a satisfying life, and definitely if you want to get paid, you need to finish some important stuff. Now, you don't need to finish every book you read. You don't need to, if you start learning. I learned Japanese once for about a year, I think, and I was fascinated. I went on holiday, had a Japanese girlfriend briefly. I traveled all over Japan. I kind of got to the point where I was conversational in Japanese, and then I didn't want to learn it any deeper. It's completely okay to get into something and then just drop it. But some things you need to follow through on and you need to finish, because unless you finish things, you don't create any value, and the way you get paid is by creating value for the world. So you don't get paid for doing what you love. You get paid for doing what you love in a way that creates value for other people. To give the game away on the book. So follow through on stuff. It's not an excuse to just never finish anything. Number 7, only launch one project at a time. So this is another thing. Scanners really find this a bit painful. But the coach, Mark Forster, who's a moderately famous time management coach who I worked with for a while, he always said it's a bit like plate spinning. If you watch an old-fashioned plate spinning act, it's a bit of an old reference now, what you'll notice is that, you know, they're spinning plates on the end of like a broomstick handle, and they've got 6 of them, and they're all spinning at the same time. And you notice what they're doing, they only ever focus on one plate at a time. So they get one plate spinning, and they don't do anything else. They don't worry about any of the other ones until they see that one's stable. Then they go on to the next one, get that spinning, and then the next one, then get spinning. They check back and see if number 1's doing okay. And so actually, there's never a point when they're thinking about more than one plate, really. They're just going through a logical process. And that's what you need to do. If you want to launch multiple projects, do them one at a time. And particularly your cash cow, you know, make sure that cash cow is launched and making money. And then you've got some breathing room to do other things. And if you try and do 2 things at the same time, and it's okay to run 2 things at the same time, just don't launch 2 things at the same time, because it almost always ends in disaster. David says it's important to follow through and complete, but sometimes it's not easy to identify the right thing to do next. That is true, yeah. I mean, David Allen says, you know, if for every project you've got, you know what your next action is, just that, your next thing when you sit down, you're going to do this one thing, this one particular task, then that helps you when you do switch projects, because you can go do that task and without wondering, like, what am I doing again? So that's the Scanner's Guide to Success, which is on page, what is it? 44 of Fuck Work Let's Play, assuming the printed version's actually the final Kindle is the same. And it's just one of the things that's in the book. There's a lot of stuff in there about careers and starting a business. And what I've said is that if you buy the Kindle version from Amazon, and the best way to find that is to go to fworkletsplay.com, the letter F, workletsplay.com, no apostrophe, and you click on the button to get the book, and then you put your order details back into the website where it says claim your bonuses. Then you will get free access to the world's first Fuck Work Day, which is happening this Saturday, and you'll get details of how that works shortly after you sign up. And what we're going to be doing is going through, I'll personally be online with you on a Zoom call, and we're going to work through how to start making it happen for you. If you're already working for yourself, one of my big interests is, like, what is this cash cow that you can create? And we'll be exploring that on Saturday in a series of Zoom calls with breaks in between. So most people don't really want to spend 3 or 4 hours on Zoom, particularly on a Saturday. So what we'll do is we cover 3 different topics, and the first is about how to choose what to focus on for your career or business, and the second one is about 5 ways to make money out of it in as rapidly as possible. It's not about get rich quick, but it's like, what are the things that pay off quickly and what are the things that take years? And then the third part is, how do you market yourself as simply as possible to the point where it's a real business? So if you want to take part in that, and which will be valued at £497, it's a workshop with me. I don't think it'll be a huge number of people, just for the Kindle. So you'll be online with me all day. Then go to fworkletsplay.com and look at the bonuses section to get details of that. I'd love you to join us. And thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to now take a stroll and get on my bike, cycle back along the canal. If there's anything you want to ask, just type in the chat in the meantime. I'm in London Fields at the moment. I just met Julian, talking about some planning stuff for the business. Pamela says, really informative, John. Thanks, Pamela. Yeah, such a great idea, says Julia. Fuck Work Day. Yeah, it seems to. It's good. I'm quite pleased with that brand. It's snappy and mildly offensive, which is always my favourite kind of brand name. Okay, thanks everyone. I'll catch you later.